Yep.
Okay, so here we are, me and Stacy, years later, trying to figure out where things went wrong, reuniting. We're both a little nervous because it's a little strange. So we're having some drinks and we're going to go from there. But I'm going to let her start because I get nervous and then I cry if I start telling my feelings and stuff like that. So, okay, go ahead. There's not going to be crying. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. My very first question is, why me?
Oh, shit.
Why did you text me?
Well, that fucking sucks. If you want the truth, there's two reasons. First, I connected with you because I saw that you were doing the speakeasy. Mm-hmm. And nobody knows this yet, but I'm calling my podcast Speakeasy. Because you don't ever know what you're going to get, but I think people speak easy with me. For whatever reason, people tell me this stuff all the time. And I thought on my own, and I told my sister-in-law, wouldn't it be cool to reunite with somebody that you had beef with? And
we
could
had
like
beef?
Not beef food, but like argument with.
No, honey.
Like
we didn't,
quote beef.
Didn't we have arguments?
Well, we
were best
ended,
of friends.
but we ended things oddly. And like, wouldn't it be great to have the person there that could give you a different perspective of yourself or the other person that would be honest? And you're the most honest person,
Next
believe it or not,
question.
that I could
Why
think
do you
of.
think we ended things oddly?
Oh my God. That's the part I have no idea.
Okay.
Share with me.
Because in today's kids' words, I would say that you ghosted me. And I did not know why, and you never told me.
Okay, that's interesting. Are we still okay?
Yeah. And if
we're gonna give 5 minutes to me and 5 minutes to you. This is what I think is a really good thing in a situation.
If we had this discussion in the Bahamas, I don't remember.
I don't remember. I don't even remember going. So,
all right. Go ahead.
So what we're gonna do is this. I think when I listen to podcasts, I hate hearing somebody talk the whole time, and one side's not. So I'm gonna give myself 5 minutes. I'm gonna go over to you, but I'm gonna sum it up. Okay. Even if it's 6, we'll figure it out. I went from Catholic school.
I know.
To high school, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
I had my neighborhood that was
Piney
the
Forks.
skaters, Piney Forks, all at the ball field, all that stuff, right?
Aww.
Then I had, I know, it's good times. So then I come to the high school, and I felt like I didn't have a place, because I was always a cheerleader. So then I was cheerleading, and then I was in this thing, so then I couldn't, like, pick a spot. I couldn't pick a group, so I didn't. And I believe, my perception, which could be very different from the other side, is 2 groups didn't like that I wasn't picking a group for whatever reason. And so I felt like I really don't know the answer, other than I probably didn't have the courage to
break
stick
up with
to
me?
a certain group. Yeah. I don't think I get ghosted as much. I don't even think I know what any of that means. I believe you are real on that. I'm not disputing that because it's real in your mind. I don't feel I did that. I feel... I really don't know. I felt like... I remember a time that there was a person that I was hanging out with, a guy, that got, like, sent to Florida. And I was really sad. He like stoned a duck or something, so he got kicked out of the state, and I was really sad. And like I remember you saying, like, Brenda, just come out with me and my guy and his friend. I'm like,
oh my
okay, I'll do it.
God.
Like, whatever. So then I did my thing, fell for this guy, whatever, and then the other guy returns unknowingly one day. And I felt like everybody was against me because I didn't just drop what I was doing and go back to that original person. I think they felt like I was a bad person. Like,
did you feel that I was against you because
I did?
Oh.
I felt like you did, even though you encouraged me to go out with you and that group, that guy and your guy, I felt like you probably didn't think it was the best thing for me, ultimately. And so there was maybe some backlash I felt that you weren't accepting. And I was always worried what people thought of me. Why? I don't care. I don't know, because
I never got that vibe from you.
I still to this day struggle with it. I think I got past it probably 5 years ago, mostly, but I still struggle. Like even tonight, what are people going to think of me? Why am I doing a podcast? Is anybody going to think I'm interesting? What? Like I'm putting myself out there on purpose because I was like, why do people think that like of me? So I always cared what people thought. So when I got like maybe some distaste, we'll go with that word, of the person maybe you thought I shouldn't be around, then I'm like, well, she must not like me because of this. And so then, see, I start talking about my feelings, I get choked up. So then there was like a group that was being formed. And then I felt like everybody was against me because I felt like I didn't do the right thing because
I'm really sorry you feel
this
that.
person came back and I was supposed to be with this guy that, came back. So, yeah, it's so stupid. This is crazy. I knew this would happen.
Yep.
So, and then there's more to it, but I want you to respond to that first, and I'll tell you the other piece that comes to that I have lots of guilt about.
But the funniest part of all of this is, I know you really cared about this human being. I couldn't fucking stand him.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I don't remember too much of that.
Could you not stand him because of the way he was with me? Because you encouraged me
He has a horrible
to
attitude.
hang out with
I
the
don't know
person.
why I did that then.
Yeah.
I don't know why I did
Because
that.
I cared what people thought. I cared about what the people around me thought, and I would just do what they say. Like, stupid. I don't know why, but, that person wants me to go out. I'm going to do it. I'm going to embrace it, and I'm going to...
Yeah.
So then I was
See,
conflicted,
I think that you are... saw you in a completely different light.
Most people did.
Saw you as somebody that everybody was... And I'm saying the word attracted, but I don't mean...
Yeah, I guess.
Sexually or whatever. You were just like somebody that everybody kind of wanted to be friends with. You were a good human. No, never forget that. You were funny. You were friendly. You seemed to be non-judgmental. I remember events with this one. I know you really liked him. And this one, I know you actually loved,
Mm-hmm.
but didn't treat you correct.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel bad if I started this connection with this one that didn't treat you correct.
I mean, you can't take accountability for that. You didn't know how that was going to transpire. But really, in the end, like, everybody treats somebody a different way all the time. Sometimes it's passion.
Plus, we
sometimes
were
it's
young.
toxicity. Sometimes we're children.
And you have to factor that in. We were young. We were kids.
Yeah. No, yeah, absolutely. I just think perception's huge. And, I think people saw the way that person... Sometimes you never hear the good stuff,
No.
People only care about the bad stuff. We both know that.
Yes.
Nobody wants to hear anybody happy. Nobody wants to hear the good stuff.
Especially
they got in a fight.
Our school
That's what people want to hear.
was so small.
Yeah.
South Park was so small. And everybody knew everybody's business.
Yeah, and I think it was somebody that there was probably other people that wanted to be with this person, and I wasn't the popular choice. And so therefore... but behind the scenes, there was a lot of special moments, and people don't really understand that. And so there was always this person, but like you really don't know. There's like lots of good parts. Whatever.
Well, let me ask you this, because I do not remember this, and you remember way more back than I do. I remember you were always friends with a girl that went to our school, but you always went to St. Joan. And I just remember you guys would take walks through the neighborhood, and I'd be like, you know what? Who is that girl? I really just would like to get to know her. And so I don't even know how our friendship really began.
I don't even know who that is.
Sorry about that.
It's all right.
I actually don't even know how we connected.
I have to think it's the boys. Like, I remember 8th grade, the guys I went to St. John with, so, well, I'll say some names. It's Kindness.
Yeah.
It's Frank Kozar, Rich Pizniak, whatever. They do their skateboards down. We'd all hang out.
Oh my God, the skateboards.
You knew, like, Johnny Gross and all those guys, and I think it kind of all just
Yeah,
meshed
just like
because
a
we were in the
party
neighborhood.
four thing,
yeah,
yeah.
and it was like so cool and so fun. And I think I always felt insecure at that time too. It's so crazy. Like I never felt like
But
it's
didn't
just nuts. Like
everybody at that age?
it's just nuts. Like I listen to these little kids that I work with now. Like I never felt cool enough. Or I never felt, and I listen to
think-
them now, and they'll be like these beautiful girls, and they'll be like, I just don't feel like I'm good enough, and I'm like, you are. What are
I
you
think maybe
talking
some
about?
people portrayed more self-confidence than they felt.
Yeah,
Right? At that age, I mean, we're just kids.
yeah. I do remember. I was always very jealous of like you and your beauty and all of your things. Like I remember going to like prom together. No, don't give me that look.
What?
No, I'm being very serious. Like I remember going to prom, and I remember like you always were so good at that, like your hair and your whatever. Like I just didn't like have it. And I remember doing my best one day. Like it was prom. And this is the best I got. Like whatever. And like fuck. Like this is all I got. I mean, I meant my best.
I went to
And I
my prom,
remember
by the way.
like putting like we had a limo, which is a big joke. But and I remember like you getting out and everybody's like, Stacy, oh you look so beautiful. I'm like, the fuck. I'm like, I did the best I
I
had.
think you... No fucking way. No.
Oh, it's so true.
I was so vain.
You were? I wouldn't
Oh
say
my
that of you.
God.
You think you were vain?
Yep.
So if you could describe yourself back then, what would you say you think your best qualities are and your worst qualities?
That's a really hard question.
Yeah, well, you started off hard with me, so that gotcha. Like you went out of the gate.
Okay. What was the legit question?
Yeah, no,
right?
no, it's valid.
So,
'cause I know
always
you're honest.
felt like I was a good friend.
How?
I was protective. I would advise my friends as best as I knew how. Maybe I came off as a little bit aggressive. I always thought I was a good friend. My bad qualities, me, when I would start drinking, wheels would fall off the cart. I became ornery, angry. That's where I got in trouble. I don't know.
So
Vanity is not a good quality, so I'm not even going to say that.
it's funny. I would never see. That's the least adjective I would have described you as at all. Like, but
my
I agree
God.
with you.
I feel like I failed swim class because
crazy.
I love swimming and I went to be on the swim team. But I had swimming in freshman year, second period, when big hair was in. Second period of the day, like you want me to swim and then go try to fix my big hair all back up in like 45 minutes? No.
Yeah, but isn't that interesting? That's what you ended up doing. Like, it's obviously an important thing to you, like your hair and that. But I don't know that I
I know.
necessarily consider that vain. Like, I don't think you ever exemplified yourself as that. I really don't. I think it was important to you.
Yeah.
But
But
vanity to me
that's
is a
all-
pretentious person that
that's all
sees
part
themselves
of-
different.
Self-esteem right there. I'm always wanting to look the best that I can because I don't want anybody else standing around saying, oh Jesus Christ, look at her, she's a hot mess, and
Yeah.
oh my God.
Honestly.
And isn't that part of the reason why I didn't want to be videoed tonight?
Right. And I was the same way. Like, I was trying to put myself out on video because everybody always says to me, why do you care if you about a pic? I never want pictures. I never want videos. Like, why do you care? Because you'll sit there in front of people and be like, blah, blah, blah. I go, because I feel like I can control, or I already am aware what they're saying about me in front of me. That's cool. But the fact that they could be dissecting me without me knowing is the most vulnerable thing that could happen. So I don't want any parts of that.
And especially potential people you don't even know.
Right.
Picking you apart.
But does it
you
matter?
will not find very many pictures of me on my own
Right.
Facebook.
I've been trying. I
Thingy.
force myself sometimes because I'm like, this is ridiculous. I know who I am. And then I'm like, I'm so against fake people, and I'm so against all these people that try to pretend they're somebody
I don't
else.
want all those filters and everything.
But then I'm like
else.
this. I'm just as fake as everybody else because I refuse to put myself on there to protect my own. That's fake.
Yeah.
If you claim yourself not to be fake, put yourself freaking out there. And I don't. So that's why I'm trying to work on, like, just put yourself on video. Just do it. People are going to critique you no matter what. Whether you're perfect, whether you're not. They're going to critique you.
But what
if
gives
somebody's
them the
perfect,
right?
we're
Are
like
they
this.
Perfect?
If somebody looks perfect on video, what are we saying? Oh, that girl. She was at that salon today. She got that Botox 2 days ago. She thinks she looks good. We know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you would have insisted we be on video tonight, number one, I don't even know if I would have done this. And number two, if I did agree to it, I would have been, like, at the salon getting hair and makeup. And I shouldn't have to do that.
Yeah. Well, then that is a problem in itself.
Again, vanity.
Yeah. Right. But I would never think that of you, which is just so interesting to me. Like, never in a million years. Like, I do agree with you that you were a really good friend. I'm not going to dispute that. I think you were very loyal. You said it. You nailed it to a point. I remember you setting up something really special for me. It's kind of strange because I was out 3 days ago and I heard a song in a coffee shop, and I'm like,
I do remember what
I
you're
go, this is
talking about.
ironic because I'm about to meet with Stacy and Debbie Gibson, lost in your eyes, and you set up this cute little thing. It's nice. I'm like, so sweet of her. Like, you protect your friends. I get it, but you're right. You protect them to
a
fault.
And I really care about my people too.
Yeah. That's like an interview at a job, and they say, like, what's your worst? And you're like, I work too hard. Like,
I know, but I
know.
I feel like
I agree with you.
Some people potentially maybe saw me as a bully too, which
Some people what?
potentially saw me as a little bit of a bully too.
Do you think you were?
Just some people.
This is not a topic I thought I would
Only
bring up.
because it happened to me.
So do you think bullying gives you inferior, gives you power?
No, I don't know, maybe not so much bullying, or maybe just trying to control every situation. Is that better phrasing?
I get it. I mean, I just recently got to a point in my life that I think it's from having adult boys, and it's not about me. Like, I used to think everything was about me. Like, if you did this, you must be trying to hurt me. If you did this, these 4 boys love me, and their choices are not reflected on, let's go fuck mom over.
Yeah.
And it's given me a whole big eye-opening, like, everything, I'm not this important. Like, everything does not have to do with me. Like, people are going to make their choices and do their things, and I can't control everything. And it's finally, as adult men, I got it. Like, I finally got it. Like, just don't control stuff and things will be just fine.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel weirded out because you're undermining your own self-worth.
No, I'm really not.
You don't know how special you are. And I was really hurt, by the way, when we stopped becoming friends.
But where do you think? Like, I know you said I
don't
ghosted
know.
you.
I have no idea.
So here's another
you're
like
telling me.
here's another like strange thing that occurred for me. Oh, there's a couple things. I don't know what that's all about.
You used to hang out with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But does that have to do with us? I'm not
No.
sure.
No. That's how I met you.
Oh.
You guys used to walk around the neighborhood together. You
remember.
were tight. Mm-hmm. She was your neighbor. So I'm going to take this right off.
For the podcasters out there, we're writing a few names of whether we don't want to discuss them or not. For the podcast, not the podcasters, the people listening.
We didn't really want to name names.
So I had a friend through grade school.
I vaguely remember. Yep.
That I was tight with. She went off to an all-girls school. Lived in Bethel Park, and I was in South Park. That didn't work out. Her parents relocated. to South Park. And rumor has it, whether that's true or not, it was because they felt she needed to have a connection with somebody that she knew, what would end up being me. And I felt this deep pressure. Now it's like sophomore year. I'm like doing my thing. And I felt this like deep pressure to like give whatever this family wanted me to give. I didn't know. I didn't think it was fair to put that on me. And so so I felt this like pressure to be available to give her the experience she needed in a different school, I guess. And then I don't know if it wasn't received as it should, but I felt like you and a couple people that you hung out with embraced her. And maybe it's a paranoia thing. I swear people tell me I should go to therapy, and I don't think I do, but I don't know if it's a paranoia thing, but I felt like at that moment, it was like this.
Because
you guys embraced
she was bubbly and peppy and didn't pose a threat. Is that way?
No, I just felt like, you embraced her because you knew I was like maybe messing her up, or I wasn't hanging out with her. This is the kind of stuff, right? Isn't it crazy?
That never even crossed my mind. But how the hell, I don't remember what was going through my mind at age, 15, 16? Right?
Something like that.
I never know. But I highly doubt that.
It's probably like, you know how perception's everything? Like, it's probably a guilt. You know how you feel guilty about something and then everything else revolves around it when it really doesn't? Does that make any sense?
Do you think that you think way too deep about things?
Everything.
Sometimes?
Everything. Okay. Oh, I'm well aware. It's the best and worst quality of me.
So
I think it sometimes is good.
Tell you, I kind of think you had this vague explanation of why we stopped becoming friends, because I think we talked about this in the Bahamas. We had to.
Which I don't remember the trip, which is another issue.
I know, yeah, that's a little bit of an issue.
It is, yeah.
Something about almost kind of like you being a little bit of a hippie, not a hippie, but you needed to explore other situations, other friendships. You are not fully committed ever to anybody at that time.
You're not the first person to say this. I hear it still to this day. Like, you can't commit. You can't commit to a date.
But I'm pretty sure that's what you told me.
Like, you can't commit.
In that roundabout way.
And probably in the last 2 years, I've changed.
You did not want to be stuck, which I guess I kind of get now.
I have a hard time
with
listening
the same friend group for your whole ass life.
I have a hard time listening to this because I hear, this is when truth comes out. I hear this from everybody. When you start to hear a trend.
I told you I wasn't going to lie to you.
No. But I hear this from everybody. Oh, well, you can't commit. That's why I don't call you. Like, we'll bother you. You can't.
I didn't say it. You said it.
No, I probably did, which is probably why people think it. You know, you just don't know.
Something.
I believe this is an odd thing to say.
Maybe you think eventually you're going to get hurt by somebody or some situation, and so you're like, before that happens.
Exactly, it's protecting yourself.
I'm just going to move on.
100%. You're not wrong.
Well,
I think
I could go deeper.
How about it?
Say that.
Like, before you go to the deep. A lot of
that is your dad's fault.
I'll go surface with you before we go deep. I always felt like people liked me at first, and then when they got to know the real me, like, they were like, I'm out.
Okay. Well, I can say for myself that was not the case for me. Ever.
I just feel that it's my own issues.
Oh my
it's
God,
with girls, guys, whatever.
Known that
and
about me.
I've learned, like, over all these years, like, kind of with guys, after 2 years,
if I didn't like you, I would not be here.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Right?
No, absolutely.
When you messaged me and asked me, what did I say? I will do this for you. Mm-hmm. Those were my exact words.
Mm-hmm. So. No, you did. I just think, now all these years, you start to see it, like, even girlfriends, friendships, relationships. it's all hunky-dory at first, right? Everybody's like, honeymoon stage.
Yeah.
And then after 2 years, you're like, all right, that was cute at first. Now it's not. Do I want to spend my life with this person? Do I want to remain friends with this person? Blah, blah, blah. And but back then you think it's about you when really it's just about progression. And so I would take that personally, like, oh, I gave myself over to this person fully now.
But that's how I feel about you. So did you, after so many years of friendship, say, you know, maybe I actually don't want to be friends with Stacy? I could flip that to me.
I do get that.
What you just said.
I do get that. And this is probably going to sound harsh, but there was probably moments that I thought, this is egotistical, but it's truth. Like, I have a reputation. Like, I remember the whole thing I was saying. Like, I went to AA with you, and I felt like
I want to talk about that.
I felt like it was a really special moment, like, between us. And when I went there and like went through all that with you, and then you weren't allowed to hang out with me anymore, just based off of what their roles are, whatever. Yep. That like hurt me for whatever reason. I was a kid.
That was 100% not my wishes. That is what those people told my parents I was supposed to do. So then I end up with 0 friends. My parents didn't know what to do with me. I was young when all that stuff went down. Nobody knew anything. And I'm sure my mom would say not. Like, my mom loved you. My parents loved you.
It was tough. Like,
they didn't know what to do.
Honest to God. The same way that I always attached to a guy, I always had a boyfriend, which is ridiculous because I felt like that defined me. And I felt you were promiscuous.
Yes.
So our paths were different.
Comment about that. But yes, go ahead.
So, coupled with AA, promiscuous, just Stacy, just the free Stacy who you are, who truly love. I didn't know if I wanted that route.
Yeah, rap. I'm glad you brought that up because I was just saying this to one of my friends the other day. This human went to South Park too, and wished that she hadn't been in a relationship for all 4 years, and she said, I wish I would have dated. And I said, at South Park you couldn't because you'd be branded a whore if you dated around. And I said, to me personally, sex was just a thing to feel pleasure. It was never important to me. It was just something I did. I never saw any type of religion in it or any of that shit or anything like that. It was just something.
Mm-hmm.
It was no big deal to me. Sorry, it just wasn't. Ever. Other people feel differently. I do not.
It's interesting. It's crazy you say this because, no, honestly, in my adult life, like, everybody feels different degrees. Their feeling is this, their feeling is that. Oh, if they have this, it's fascinating to me to listen because I learn from the people that can be a little bit more free than I, and I admire it.
Function.
Admire it.
That you do. And I'm going to tell you right now, like, I know a lot of people, oh, my first time has to be special and can't praying, candles everywhere, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm sure I felt that way at some point. My first time was terrible. It wasn't romantic. It just was terrible experience.
So do you think emotional is more important than physical?
No, I think physicality is way more important than emotions.
I feel the complete opposite.
Yeah, no.
Did I say I feel the way I feel the complete opposite.
You feel that there should be a ton of emotions involved, and it should be special and all this other.
I've learned to come down from that. I've learned to come down from that vision because I think that's unrealistic. I mean, I think that's fairy tale and all that stuff.
I think that's what we were taught, though.
I've read about it. They call it a sapiosexual. I don't know what the hell that means, or demosexual. I don't know. Excuse me, but my attraction is to the brain and to the emotion. And the physicality to me is just, it doesn't mean anything.
Oh, no, that's first and foremost for me.
But that's what's interesting.
I
So
don't give a shit
with
about
two
any
people,
of the other stuff.
that's what's fascinating to me. So you have two people that are exploring two different paths.
Yeah.
You don't know what is important. So when that thing's going on, I'm just like,
So you wanted to distance yourself from me because I was getting some kind of reputation in the all-important South Park High School. And that was going to affect your life how?
well, I wasn't smart enough to know that.
Other than, okay, maybe some people wouldn't want to hang out with you because I was that way.
I don't know that I cared about that because that's not really so much it. I was hanging out with a band. Honestly, I was in a weird place then. I was so lost. I was hanging out with the band members. I was hanging out with the cheerleaders. I was hanging out with this group. Like, I didn't know my place. So I don't know that it was so much that as much as, like, my innate stuff. Like, this is just not who I am right now.
Yeah.
This is just not what I
get it.
believe.
And I got screamed at by one of our good friends because I was that way.
Hold on, in my glass.
They're on your head.
Oh, thank you.
Because I was that way.
But something I always appreciated about you, which is why we're here tonight on my first experience, is you always were you. It didn't matter. And now that I'm 50, I don't even know how old I am. I think I'm 51. Now that I'm 51, what I value in that is I value so much that I never even knew is if somebody is just them. It's amazing to me. And I try to learn from people like that. I try to learn. That's why you're here. I try to learn whether you weren't well received or this or that. You were always you. And I truly admire that.
In the scheme of my life, okay, fine. I wasn't well received. I hope that the people that I cared about me, I was well received by. But other than that, I don't care. And it matters nothing in my life 30 plus years later because the people that didn't receive me well have no effect on my life now.
Mm-hmm.
None. And I just wish I would have recognized that when we were in high school. But, you can go back and tell yourself.
Like, recognize what?
It doesn't matter what these people say about you at all. It doesn't.
I've learned.
I mean, there's a reason I don't go to any of our reunions.
I would like to do it. I haven't been back. I really don't care enough, to be honest with you.
Same. I went to one, and that was it. And that's only because I provided half the goddamn addresses for it.
Yeah, I would like to
my
return.
hair
I
salon
just
at the time.
I've just learned recently. I think I said it earlier. Like, we're just not that important. Everything's about. If we take us out of it, the whole dynamic changes. It changes everything because you see everything differently. Like, we think everything's about us, and it isn't.
No,
it's not. It's about what's internally going on within the other person.
We are important to the humans that we need to be important to right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm important to the people that care about me. I'm important to my mom. I'm important to my husband. I'm important to all the people that I'm close to that I am friends with now, which isn't. No.
Oh, our circle becomes smaller, of course.
Yes.
Do you think this is the life that you thought you would be living?
No.
What did you think you would? No. Absolutely not.
Wow, so sometimes I get super mad at myself because, and I'm not like bragging or, but I really was very smart. I was in all those weird gate programs and all the.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, whatever. And I wish I would have just stuck on that trail of good grades and all this other stuff instead of trying to be cool or whatever the fuck I don't even know what I was doing. I just wish I would have stuck on my path as far as the grades.
So what do you think?
Doing good in school.
What do you think dipped you?
Oh, just trying to be cool. And
It's interesting because South Park.
The people that I was kind of hanging out with, it was not cool to be a bookworm or be smart or get straight A's or anything like that. And I just was trying to find where I fit in. And so I let all that go by the wayside, and I really, really wish I had it. That's my regret. Is the actual school part of school.
It's interesting.
And what's yours?
It's very interesting because when I was in South Park, we used to ridicule Upper St. Clair, obviously.
Yeah.
When my kids went to Upper St. Clair, I understood it. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool to be smart.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool to delve into things that aren't the typical cool.
I wish I worried less about being cool.
Right. Like, I think to myself, oh my God, I would have loved to be in theater. I would have loved it.
Yeah,
but that just
same.
wasn't what I was supposed to do.
Yep.
But when you're in this district and this district, and you're in a bigger district, theater's cool. It's not, and we go off. I took lesser classes so I could be with the cool kids and the guys.
Yeah,
and
what were we
it's
thinking?
ridiculous. Like, why are you fixating your life on a guy? I don't get it. Like,
Oh Christ. And I say this too, like, I went to dancing school at Ruby Doherty's. Love. Probably from age 4 to age at least 15. And when I go see theater shows, these days I'm like, I get so jealous and so like, oh my God, I really wish I was up there. But one of the instructors down there, and this would never happen today, by the way, one of the instructors down there said to me, you are too short to ever dance professionally. So when somebody says that to you, why would I continue going to these dance classes and paying for this if I'm never going to be able to do it professionally? That would have been my dream, though, for sure. For sure. They would never get away with saying that these days. They'd be like, oh my God, can you believe this instructor said this and this? But that's probably what I really would have done. I loved it. Still do.
I remember my, what do they call, guidance counselor telling me I'm not going to be anything.
Yep.
And literally said those
I
words.
know who you mean, too.
And I'm like, who would say that to somebody? Now that I am an adult, I'm like, I could be anything I wanted to be. No, it's horrible.
Because he told one of our friends that was extremely smart and got all straight A's that she should just go do hair. Just because she was a woman.
It's
now
crazy.
She's like,
think about that.
Top nurse, whatever.
You hear something that somebody's supposed to be looking out for you. And I think to myself, these kids today, even myself, I could be anything I want to be.
Yep.
I mean, I wouldn't be able to be a surgeon because I don't have but
I would just pass right on the floor. First sight of blood.
yeah, like, I mean, that stuff. But overall, you could be anything you want to freaking be. School doesn't matter.
You had that chauvinistic man.
I couldn't believe it.
Counseling us? Are you kidding me?
I allowed that sentence to dictate my life. It's crazy.
He said that to all the females.
It's crazy.
I wish we would have had more self-confidence or whatever to be like, oh my God, no, you need to go, sir, and you need to stop telling these females that they need to go do hair if they don't want to, or they need to go do something menial just because we're females. No. Mm-mm. And I did hair for a bazillion years. I own my own salon.
It's just self-worth
Yeah.
stuff. It's self-worth.
Yep.
It's self-worth. It's weird. Things that, I mean, you mentioned earlier, let's see where we're at, like, all right. You mentioned earlier, like, you think my dad affected me.
I do. Of course he did.
I don't believe that to be true.
Whether you know
I think it's maybe a subconscious thing.
Yes.
He was never there for me to even miss him. I didn't even know he was gone.
I know, but I had to.
But a dad
fuck
not in
you
your
up
life.
in a bit of a way, of course.
Of course.
Of course it did, and I don't even think you realize it.
So I used to be I was a psychology, social work major. I used to be a big dissect childhood, dissect this, dissect that. Oh, it's got to be
You've
this.
been a really good psychologist.
I'm big on it. But my son sent me a podcast a couple months ago. I'm like, well, this makes freaking sense. And the podcast says, if somebody broke their leg and they're like, oh, how did this happen? Would you just go and snap their leg again to like figure it out? Or like if there's a scab, you're going to rip it off to figure it out? It doesn't matter. In the end, none of it matters. Because if you just are right here in the middle, current, we all want to make excuses for all the shit that happened. Like, just be here. And then you're worried about the future. Future doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We're all just right here. Do I think it had some effect? Probably because I feel like I always needed a man in my life. Yeah. I didn't have one. I was the only one in the neighborhood. I probably felt like weird. And I always felt different.
Yeah.
I guess maybe that difference is where I got the defense and the guard and the protect myself. I'm not really sure, but the lack of my dad, I never missed. Like, he died, and I was like, he came and gone. Like, that's terrible to say. He just died.
When?
January. And it was like this.
6 months ago?
Yeah. And I was like, what? But because he was never there.
You know what's weird is that I thought he passed quite a few years ago.
No, it was just happened.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so
Yes.
much. I appreciate.
Have to say it. So.
Yeah, but I mean, even that though, it was an eye-opening thing for me too. Like,
And that-
everybody thinks every relationship has to be this, like,
I totally agree.
you know, like, oh, let's
but
spend
I-
holidays together. Let's,
Oh.
let's just connect. Like, I may never see you again today,
No,
but
you are going to see me again.
well, whether we do or not, like, everything is so embellished. Like, we have to have this, we have to have it.
It's a lot
Why
of
can't
pressure.
we just be friends?
It's a lot of pressure.
It is. Like, oh, we don't talk anymore. I think friendships are all fucked up. Like, I think friendships, like, I'll be best friends with somebody in January. In April,
Yeah, but you've always...
our lives change.
Yeah.
And I think when the dynamic
But that's your
changes,
thing. That's this brings us back around to why we stopped being friends, because that is your thing.
is it necessarily my thing, though?
Yeah.
Or is it everybody's? Like,
No.
that's cool. I'm open to it.
It
But,
is
like,
not.
I mean, do I make this up? Like, what if you're on the same level and you're like best friends and you're both married and you both have kids and you're all cool and this person has all this money and you let them have it, and then the dynamic changes, right? And then, oh, the dynamic changes. Oh, this person's not where we were before anymore.
It
And now-
actually has happened to me, of course. Of course it has. Yes.
It's like we were like this,
Yeah.
and now that I'm not giving you your matriarch anymore because I'm in a different position, now we're gonna have this
Yeah.
issue. Not you. I'm just saying in
No,
general.
I understand what you're saying.
I see it with a lot of people that are friends. Like,
I don't know. I just feel like, maybe some things come to light after you hang out for so long that I'm just like, maybe I don't like you as much as I thought, or don't want to spend as much time with you as I thought I might like to. That will happen for sure. That happens for sure.
what do you think the barrier is, like, when you have friendships or the ones that last? Why do the ones that have lasted last? Is it because the other person's just
Acceptance, and because I'm still very good friends with Randy. We do not see each other all the time. We do not talk all the time, but I know that girl is there for me. And we have been friends since we're 15 years old. We've been through a lot of shit together. It's just solid. She accepts me for me. I accept her for her. That's all I can say. Think when you know something's solid, you know it's solid.